What's up, guys? Tim Halstead with DragBoss Garage. Welcome back to the channel for another episode. Glad you guys are here. I appreciate everybody subscribing and tuning into the channel. A lot's been going on, so I'm going to kind of give you an update of where we're at. I appreciate you guys watching that pro stock video that I made featuring Richard Maskin's heads that he used on the Hornet X. We also kind of got into Wally Booth's cylinder heads. Maybe he'll come on for a live chat. Someone said that he's not with us anymore, and that's not true. He's like 86 or 87 right now. So I guarantee he watched that video. I'll get an update, hopefully, from Mike Keener with Team Checkmate Camaro. We're going to do another live chat together. Hopefully he gets his partner, Paul McCure, on. And I had texted Mike Fonz, and Bruce Sizemore is also going to be in for a live chat. So we'll keep this channel going with a history, pro stock and racing in general. It's been a while since I made a video, like I said before. This 354 Cleveland, as you've seen, sit here for probably a year now. I'm finally getting to the point where I'm going to put the oil pan on. I'd made a couple videos with my daughters where we had measured the oil pump, pick up the pan clearance. So I'll show you what it looks like one more last time before we button it up. I went through and put some assembly lube and lube on all the rods and the crank and some of the cylinder walls just to have a little bit of pre-lube, so to speak, even though I'm going to end up priming in the motor anyway since it's had no oil in it. I'll probably even pour some oil down the pickup and let that sit there for a while. I'll also show you where I'm at with the Cougar. I finally got the parts and pretty much got it together. Hopefully this week my chassis guy JP will be up. He's got to drive 2.5 hours to come up and help me. But now we have to reconfigure the strut rods because the lower control arms that I got from Total Control are way different than the stock pieces. He said it won't be that bad, so we'll do that. Let's check out the 354. Here's the intake. Since I last messed with it, probably now at least a month ago or more, I don't even know. But I'm getting there. Need to do some final work and get this all transitioned in a lot better than it is. And then after I get it to the shape I want, I'll do some final finish maybe with like 80 grit. Here's the 354 Cleveland, which makes 615 horsepower at 8 grand. You can see the crank's got a little bit of a knife edge here. I cleaned it all up. The rods, I want to say the rods are like 6,400, some crazy number like that. They're long. This motor was built by Brent Likens, and I forgot the specs, so forgive me. I'd actually put on the bolts. I showed you this before. I'd use some ARP, smaller head, 3/8 by 16 bolts. And it's difficult to get down in here, and I kind of round a little bit, and I said, you know what, that's done. I'm taking it off. Someone had mentioned about putting safety wire on them, and here, I'm not messing with that right now. I've never had any issues, so I'm going to go with it. But I appreciate the suggestion. But that's what it looks like. It's crazy how good shape this thing's in from sitting. It's been sitting now for 5 years at least. So hopefully the valve springs are going to be good. But you can see right there, it says number 5. It's still written in Sharpie. So the pistons say Brent Likens on them, or Likens Motorsports. So let's get this thing back together. Let me show you the Cougar and show you where we're at. So obviously you can see it's got wheel brakes. I'd redone the bearings on them this time around and cleaned everything up. I finally have the right coil springs, and that's how they're supposed to look. Fit right up in there. Perfect. On these Mark Menzer double adjustable shocks. Now I'll be able to put the button on, or that I've had off for years because it wouldn't fit with the original stock spring. Not that I have to mess with it much, but that way I can adjust it easier, protect a little bit better. There's the upper control arm here. You can see here that it's offset by 1 inch. If you look at those bolts. So that allowed the control arm to come down in the back this way and straighten it up this way. So now it's more 90 degrees and the binding's gone now. And then I have a limiter bolt. This is temporary right here because I can't let it go down too far because then it'll bind on the rack the way this is set up. So that has to be limited somewhat. So the travel is going to be limited. I think we have 3 inches on it. And then there's the new control arms down there. They're tubular. They're pretty heavy duty. There's no doubt about that. I did put the stock eccentric back in. You can kind of see it there. JP said that should be fine. I can crank it right down. And with that Heim joint in there, it won't be binding. Because that's a problem with these lower control arms. When you go to tighten up the bolt, whether it's a fixed camber adjustment or the eccentric, it starts to bind the control arms. And I've always had these a little bit loose with lock nuts. So what I'm going to have to do, if you look here, the strut rod's just sitting in here, but we're going to have to build it a little bit better to have it secured to this, because it's just, the bolt's just sitting through a hole where the stock strut rod bolt would go. And the tie rod looks like it's going to do pretty well, so that's where we're at. Hopefully that'll get me my anywhere from 3 to 5 degrees of positive caster, which is what we need. And then once we get the car back together, then we can figure out about the ride height, which is adjustable right here. So that's the spring they should have sent in the first place, which kind of set the whole domino effect back in rolling. So like I had said before, maybe I didn't, I don't know, but I use this ultra gray Permatex. I just like the way it goes on, and it works really well. I cleaned this is the original gasket that Brent Likens had used, whatever, over 6 years ago. I took the pan off, I cleaned it all up, it looks good. I'm putting it back together. If I have to change it because it leaks or something, it ain't that big of a deal, but I at least want to get it running. I may even put it in a Mustang and use that as the run stand. I don't know. So I had cleaned all the old Permatex off, or whatever gasket sealer he uses. The oil pan that I got from my buddy Peter Salem, I had already bolted on overnight all the way and bolted it all on, just to make sure, one, it fits when I'm doing this on camera, and two, to help that pan to kind of conform to this gasket and this engine block, since it's never been on an engine. So these end seals I'm reusing, they look good. So the places I want to put some specifically is right here. And in the corners. Right there where the end seal meets the gasket. And I'll clean this up a little bit better. A little too much, but it's all right. And I'm one of those guys, I try not to use too much of this stuff. Now Izzy was going to help me do this, but they decided to go to the beach, and I was going to go, but I said, you know what? I got a live chat tonight with Gerald Brandt. Great guy. I think you guys are going to enjoy that if you're here. He does all the Street Outlaw engines, not all of them, but a lot of the guys on there. Big Chief, Jackie, Damon Merchant, Daddy Dave. So he's got a lot of experience with those guys and been racing and building engines since he was 17. He worked with Jimmy Nix back in the Top Fuel days. So let me finish this and we'll come back. You don't need to see me put Permatex on the gasket. So stay tuned. All right, there it is. I just put a light coat on it. It's actually getting kind of tacky. I don't like to put too much on it. That's why there's a gasket. But being an imperfected gasket, used already, there's a couple spots that were a little thin, so I put that on there. A little bit extra there. But it looks pretty good. I like how you see the date on there. 10/7 of 70. So let's get the pan on. So here's the oil pan I got from Pete Salem. You can kind of see in there the trap doors. So let's put this on. Good thing about this is you just put it on straight down and it fits perfect. Just like that. So we'll start putting the bolts in. like I said, it's pretty tacky, and I like it that way, so I know that it's going to be kind of cured somewhat before we go tightening it down. Stuff stays, the silicone or the Permatex stays in place a lot better when it's tacky. You just want to make sure you got these bolts in and that they're not cross-threaded. So I hand tighten them all. I like the fasteners that Brent had placed on this. They all fit perfect. They all look good. You know, like on oil pans, you always want to start in the center and kind of move out. And I just kind of snug them down until they're kind of snug. Move to the back. I appreciate you guys tuning in to Mrs. DragBoss's channel. She enjoys that. She likes to make some of the videos that she's making. I said, you got to get into videos more. You guys want to see who you are more than just seeing the introduction. Get her working on some stuff. You know, Bill Fioretti and a couple other guys, I think it was Stroker Maverick, were saying how they'd like to see her build an engine or build some parts. So I told her that. And she said, well, she's camera shy. I said, well, that's all right. So am I. But it's hot here today. That's why I didn't want to go to the beach and sit there and bake in the sun. It's like probably 86 degrees out, 87. And I got the AC on in DragBoss Garage. I always told myself I'm not going to be working when it's, you know, sweating my ass off in a garage and going through any of that rigmarole. Not doing it. Same with heat. I'm not going to work in a freezing garage. I did that as a kid all my life. I said I'm never going to do that when I can afford it and have a garage and stuff. So some of you guys might be watching this sweltering heat. You got my sympathy. I've been there. So let me finish tightening this oil pan up. I don't think you guys really care about watching me snug bolts down. You've done it yourself a million times. So I appreciate you being here at DragBoss Garage and watching me go through my projects, and hopefully it gets you some enthusiasm. I've heard that from other guys, that it makes them want to get their projects done. Probably a little faster than me. But I may add some to this video, I don't know. If not, I'll see you guys later. Hi, Mrs. DragBoss. Are you coming in? She just got out of the pool, so she's not going to come on camera. All right, guys. Catch you later. All right, guys. The oil pan's tight. It looks pretty good. I don't have any issues with that. So we'll have to get an oil temperature sending unit for that back plug that's on the back, which you can see right there. It's always good to monitor temperature. This is a Philip block. The rocker arms are Crowder. You can tell they're steel. The intakes are 1.73 ratio. The exhaust are 1.6. So I remember Brent mentioning that before in the initial build. It's clean as a whistle. There's the intake ports. Someone said, oh yeah, they've been had work done. No work done at all. You can see that. Original casting marks on it. So we'll see. It'll be a good test to see if my intake porting picks up a couple horse from 615. Well, you saw what it looked like up top. Here's what it looks like finished. I'd love to dyno test it with this top end. UR19, 21050s. I know this motor could take it. I think we're going to have to make it happen. You can see the Holley Strip Dominator back there. I'm going to finish porting that hopefully this week. Getting things done. But yeah, killer looking right there, boys. Red, white, and blue. I didn't really like the way it looked with underhood black, so we Bossettified it. Nice and even, yep. Yep, try to go nice and even. Good, perfect. Yep. And not too much on the edges, yep. Keep it flat, that's okay. Yep. Good job. Nice. I'll knock it down a little bit and I'm gonna paint it a different color. Semi-gloss or gloss black. It was underhood black and it's too dark. Good work.
Thanks, Dad.
So now Alaina's wet sanding with 800. Huh.
Yeah?
Try to do it nice and even. Yep. Nice and let your hand free. Be real loose with it. Go back and forth, back and forth. Yeah. Don't hold a lot of pressure. Nice. Move it. Yeah. Yep. Don't do the circle. Just nice and straight. Yep, like this. Back and forth. Not this. See how you're coming back? We don't want to do that.
It's straight?
Yep, back and forth. Yep. Put a little water on it. She was amazed as though you could wet sand. So it acts as a lubricant and it helps take the dust up. Try to keep it more straight with the hood, not in a circular. Yep. Yeah. Get some rhythm in it. There you go. Yeah. Very good. So we'll do this. We'll do 800, get it nice and bumped up, and then we may hit 1200, and then I might paint it with a gloss. Now wipe it off. Clear, get all that sanding dust off. Go ahead, wipe it. Yep, try to not do circular motions, do straight back. There you go. Yep, back and forth, straight back and forth. There you go. Good.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah. It's not so critical here, but we just want to clean it off. Yep. Nice. Good. We want, now switch your rag. Flip it over so there's a piece that's not contaminated, so to speak. Yep. Good. Good strokes all the way to the edge. Yep. Perfect. Good.
Yeah, I forgot.
Yep, we try to make the rag so it's flat, not in a big bunch like that. We'll show you. You never did it before. Go ahead. Good. Wipe it off. Yes. Nice and flat. Yep. And keep that blue tail on top of the rag so it doesn't scratch the... Perfect. Now you got it. Yep. Nice even strokes all the way back. To the back. Yep. All the way to the front. Good. That's it. Keep your hands straight. Yeah. Don't curve. Good. Go down the back of it.
Wait, oh.
Yep.
I
Perfect.
didn't even know there was a back right there.
Oh. Well, you learn something new every day, don't you? Old Boss 429 hood scoop, so we're going to bring it back to life. Nice, that's looking good. Now we'll inspect it and see if we have to sand it down again. Well, we'll use 1200 on it, but it's kind of too windy to paint outside, so we'll figure that out. All right, well, let's get ready to sand again.
Okay.
Good work.
Thanks, Dad.
Yep, nice, that's perfect. We just try to stay away from the edges every time, or you'll sand them down. We'll do them all a little bit. They don't need that much. It's the center that you see mostly. Yep, perfect. Yep, let that sandpaper do the work. You'll feel it rough, it'll catch a little bit. Yep. So you can see here, I've sanded most of the paint off we put on the other day. That underhood black, you can see the silver start to come through, which is perfect. I just wanted to knock it down enough to get it to be a little bit smoother. That kind of filled it in a little bit. But you got to be careful with the edges. You don't want to round them off. They have a little bit of a definition, and that's what we want to try to keep. How's it look?
Good.
That's the thing about doing body work on the outside. You can always get contamination, especially with painting. So I try to paint when the wind's not coming, or I don't know, haven't figured that part out yet. They do it in the backyard.
Dad, I was about to say, or maybe you can do it under the tree. I was like, under a tree, but I was like, oh, that's a bad idea because leaves might fall on it.
Are you filming?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay, guys, I'm one of the Bossettes, and I sanded the hood scoop with 320, 400, 800, and 800, and 1200.
Yep.
Okay, guys, here it is, and it feels really good. It's smooth.
Like glass, isn't it?
Yeah, it feels like hourglass.
It does.
It's really smooth.
Move back so they can see. Yeah, let them get a good look at it. Come up in front of it. That's pretty good. That'll look good once we lay down the black on it, huh?
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Well, there it is. Spray bomb, gloss black. I'm telling you, that thing looks pretty sharp. You know, we did the prep work on it. I think that makes a big difference. And not bad for what we did time-wise. All right, guys. There's Mrs. DragBoss's 69 Mustang. I wanted to do a walk around. Someone had asked about it before, and I haven't really shown it in a lot of detail on my channel. You can see her channel and see some more detail that she had made and videos that she made. So check out Mrs. DragBoss, her YouTube channel. But I had some time while I was waiting for some parts for the Cougar, which are all now here, and hopefully tomorrow we'll finish up the strut rods that have to be reconfigured with the new lower control arms. I'll show you some pictures there. You can see that in this video. But someone asked me about showing some detail of this. And what I did was my daughter, Alaina, and I, Bossette number 2, yesterday we reworked that hood scoop. It was a silver hood scoop previously, and you can see a picture here. I didn't really like that at all, and it wasn't really a good paint job, but I had sanded it down. Her and I sanded it down with 320, and she'll tell you about that on the video. And then I ended up painting it with gloss black, a spray bomb. I cannot believe how good it came out. But there it goes to show you that prep is what makes a difference. But it's a Boss 429 scoop. I mean, it just makes that car. So we'll do a little walk around, and the paint looks pretty darn good for over 20 years sitting in a barn at my buddy Eric Johnson's place. And I haven't really even corrected the paint except for the roof and maybe this fender. I still have to do the hood and the rest of the car. But that hood scoop, I'll tell you, that thing came out pretty darn nice for what it is. You know, DragBoss and the Bossette Alaina doing it outside. It's pretty darn sharp. And you know what? I'll take it. So we're going to send it for now. But I'll show you what the car looks like, give you a little better detail. I had stopped with the interior. I have the carpet fitted in there. I got a little fitting to do, but other than that, it's really pretty much done. And it goes to the back seat. If you saw my other videos, I fitted the rear interior. That's all ready to go. I just wanted to get the carpet finished. I just set the seat in there to kind of see what it looks like, and I would like to use that console. So we're going to try to use that console. That's the original dash that Eric had. I installed that. All the lights work. I'm determining what to do with those gauges, if I want to keep those or change them. I don't know. We'll figure it out as we go. But let's take another look at the back. So you might not get the best view since it's in the garage and there's a lot of junk in the way, but you'll get the gist of it. But nothing like a 69 Fastback. I mean, it is the epitome of muscle car to me. I think it's my favorite car. Kids ask me, hey, Dad, which is your favorite car? And I have to say the 69 Mustang. Although Cougar's right up there. It's hard for me to decide. But you can see those burnout areas right there. That's over 20-something years old from the last time it was raced. With a 383 Cleveland that was running in the 1030 range on the street with a Jericho 4-speed. So like I always say, you never know what you're going to see at DragBoss Garage. I don't know about learning anything in this video, but it's fun to see the car progress. So thanks, guys. Make sure you give a like and subscribe if you have not, so I can keep this channel going and bring you more things you've never seen before.